Now let's learn how to upload our first code written for ESP32. First, we will create a simulation on Walkfree platform to blink an LED using ESP32. We will be programming the ESP32 using the Arduino IDE. First, let's look at how we can install Arduino into our computer. I will search for Arduino on Google. Click on the first search result. On the Arduino homepage, I will click on the software menu. And I will download the latest version of Arduino IDE for my operating system Windows. You should select your correct operating system here. Now I will click on the downloaded file to run it. I will go through the installation process. Now Arduino has successfully installed. I will tick Run Arduino IDE and click on Finish. Now I have to install the ESP32 board into my Arduino IDE. To learn how to do that, I will open my browser and search for Install ESP32 to Arduino IDE. Here we will ignore the first search result and select the documentation provided by Espressif. You can go through this documentation to learn how to install ESP32 into Arduino IDE. But here I will just copy the stable release link. Now I open my Arduino IDE and go to File, Preferences. Here I will paste the copied link into the Additional Boards Manager URLs tab and click OK. Next, I will go to Tools, Board and Boards Manager. Now I will search for ESP32 and click Install. Now the ESP32 boards will install into my Arduino IDE. It will take a somewhat longer time depending on your internet connection. Now the ESP32 boards are installed. I will check that by going to Tools, Board and ESP32, and here you can view all the boards that have been installed. Now let's get into the exciting part. We will start by making the circuit on a breadboard. These are the components that we'll be using. I have a small breadboard, or you can either use a larger breadboard if you have. Next, I have the ESP32 board. To be exact, this is the ESP32 Dev Kit V1. And I have some breadboard wires. You can either use jumper wires as well. I have an LED which I'll be using and a 220 ohm resistor to connect the LED with. And I have a pair of tweezers to connect the wires easily. I will start by plugging in the ESP32 board onto my breadboard. Make sure that it is plugged in properly. Next, I will connect the ground pin of the ESP32 to my ground rail on the breadboard. Next, I will connect the LED. The LED will have two leads, one is shorter than the other. Here I have bended the longer one. This longer lead is a positive terminal of the LED while the other is the negative terminal. Now let's connect the LED to the ESP32 board. First, I will connect the negative terminal of the LED to the ground rail of the breadboard. Next, I will insert the resistor onto the breadboard with one end connected to the LED. Next, I will connect the other end of the resistor to the D21 pin on my ESP32. The next step is to connect the circuit that we made to the computer. For that, we will be using a USB cable with USB-A at one end and USB Mini on the other end. When I connect the USB cable to the computer, the power LED will turn on. And on the Arduino IDE, when I plug in the ESP32 board, I will be able to see the board on the bottom right corner of my IDE. This you can use to verify that the board has been connected properly. I have copied the code from the simulation onto the IDE. So now I will try uploading the code onto my ESP32 board. Hopefully everything will work out fine. Unfortunately, an error has occurred. This is because, as it is, the ESP32 board is not in the download mode. For that, we have to click on the boot button on the ESP32 board while we are uploading the code. Congratulations! Now you have successfully programmed the ESP32 board to blink an LED.